Are you constantly looking at your phone waiting for your twin flame to text, wondering why they haven't reached out, why they're still running? What have you done wrong, or what have you said wrong for them to not be in contact? Well, this is the thing. The separation is there for a reason. It's for you to heal and for them to heal. But if you're in the energy of desperation or need or seeking their validation, you're only going to delay union even further. The most important thing you can do on this journey is to surrender. So heal your unworthiness wound and go into surrender mode. Let go and trust in the divine orchestration and divine timing of your connection. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. We think that if we go into surrender or we detach, that we're going to lose our twin. And, I mentioned this about the divine feminine, holding back her energy or taking her energy back. But this goes on in both directions, like for both twins. This is an otherworldly soul connection. We cannot control it. We're so used to or needing to be in control when we're in relationships. But the thing with the twin flame connection, if you try to control it, it actually it goes further away. You lose more of your connection to it. There's a desperation energy there. There's this neediness that's seeking outside ourselves for validation. But we need to trust that everything that happens in the twin flame connection is happening for a reason. It's part of your divine plan. So you chose this separation to heal. You chose this separation to grow. And that's one of the most important things you can do. It's just trust that every single thing that's happening here was pre-planned by you and your twin flame. Like, you asked them to trigger you. You asked them to help you, understand what your wounds were. And, they asked for the same thing. So if you're triggering them, obviously you pre-planned this. So we need to start to release our control. This is not a 3D connection. This is not going to be controllable. It doesn't work that way. It's releasing it and surrendering to the connection that's so important. And what does surrender look like? Surrender looks like not sitting there waiting for your phone to go off, not wondering where they are, not chasing them all the time. If they don't reply, trusting they're not replying because they're either busy or because they're trying to heal. And that's it. Like, I used to be very unsurrendered, as we call it. I was very, it's funny. I've said this before, I've been on the journey for a long time prior to meeting my twin flame in the physical. And, I knew what to do and I knew what not to do, but I did everything anyway. I did all the things that I wasn't supposed to. I chased. I was in neediness. Every time he didn't reply, I was in this unworthiness energy. Obviously to trigger my wounds, which I'm grateful for now. But when you're in the depths of that pain or that the unworthiness wound, as we keep calling it, like you don't see anything outside of that. All you think is, they don't like me, they don't want me, they're going to choose somebody else, why aren't they speaking to me, what did I do, what did I say, what's wrong with me? And it's just like, this is always going around in our heads. But this is the big loud message here. Heal your wound, heal your stuff. And that's the thing. We think that we should be in connection, or we think that we need them to heal our wound. No. You're the only one that can heal your wound. You know what I mean? Seeking outside yourself to heal your unworthiness wound is not going to work, because you're only actually going to activate that unworthiness even more. Because the main objective of this connection really is to get to a place of unconditionally loving yourself. Unconditionally surrendering to the fact that you don't need their validation to make you feel good. But also you have to remember as well, you're always connected on the 5D. So effectively, they are always validating you, but you're not taking the time to listen. When we're in this chasing energy, this non-surrendered state, we're constantly just bombarded with thoughts, fears, doubts, all that kind of thing. And we're not leaving space for the 5D. Like, if you heal your stuff, or even if take 5 minutes of meditation and silence to connect with your twin on the 5D, it becomes clearer, and you actually start to feel their presence with you. And I found this when I was still in chaser mode, as we call it. I was constantly checking their social media, constantly. And he doesn't post my twin doesn't post on social media, but I was constantly checking to see was he online, or, seen was a proof of him online, and I was draining my energy. I was like literally in teenage energy mode. You know, where is he? What's he doing? Oh my God, is he still alive? You know, I was driving myself crazy. And, you know, when I took a step back from that, and this has happened on and off, you know, and we've all done this. We were like, I'm going to stop looking at his page. And then obviously after a while, you kind of go back looking because you're curious. But like this back and forth energy that you wonder why they're back and forth. You're back and forth as well. But like every time I did take my energy back, the telepathic connection between me and my twin got stronger. So whenever I wasn't in that needy mode, I could hear him clearly and I could feel him with me. And I think that was so helpful for me to go into surrender, because I was actually becoming more connected to the soul side of this connection. And we forget that. We're in this energy of deep wounding that we need to heal. And all we can think about is 3D contact. We're like, we need them to validate us. We need them to speak to us. If he's not communicating, then he's chosen someone else. All this stuff that goes through your head. But at the end of the day, that's us neglecting the 5D side of it. You know, and I have to remind people of this. I have to remind myself of this at times as well. You know, when I was in that energy, we always go through this as well, right? Where we're getting so frustrated with their behavior that we're like, I'm going to block him. I'm not talking to him anymore. I'm going to block him. And, you know, you're literally in the energy of like so angry with them for treating you badly that you're literally in the energy of, I don't want this anymore. They're not even my twin. I don't know. And you go through all these doubts over and over again, questioning everything. But remember how you met. That's one of the biggest ones I'll go to. Like the fated connection. The instant recognition, you know, and I instantly recognized my twin from his voice. And then when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, you know, this shit is real. And, you know, it took me a while to understand it. But when I look back, I realized all of the spiritual connections with our meeting and how we got together and that kind of energy. And that's, you know, the otherworldly feeling, that euphoric feeling. That soul deep feeling, that's your proof. So when we literally separate ourselves from the human side of the connection and reconnect to the spiritual side, we start to feel more relaxed. We start to feel more surrendered. And that's it. You know, you start to believe in what you feel rather than what you see. And it's such a relief to be in that energy. Like, you know, now if I get text from my twin, and he mightn't reply straight away, or, you know, it might be a week before he replies, or something like that. I don't care. Obviously I care, but I'm not in the energy of, oh shit, he's not texting me because he doesn't like me. I'm in like the energy of, okay, we have to go through another healing cycle. And it's funny because every time we do have a little bit of space, I have to go through another healing cycle as well. Do you know what I mean? I could be going through a few days of high and going, I'm fine, I'm ready for union. And then all of a sudden I crash. And I'm like, oh, I'm not really ready for union just yet. But then the minute I heal the wound, it's beautiful as well. When you go into surrender mode, you know, before surrender mode, the healing is big. It's really big. It can be drawn out. It can happen over days, weeks, or months. Going through that dark night of the soul and all that kind of stuff as well. Because the wound is bigger. And because effectively when we're chasing, we're avoiding our own healing. And when we're chasing, they're also avoiding their own healing as well, because it's the mirrored energy. So you're literally prolonging the growth and healing when you're not in surrender. But the wound is huge anyway. The unworthiness wound is fucking massive. You know what I mean? And we have to heal it in layers. But the avoidance is making it harder, and the healing cycles are a little bit longer. But when you go into surrender, you can go into surrender and, you know, feel that self-worth, feel good enough in yourself, choosing yourself. That's effectively it. Because, you know, we're in unworthiness mode, and we were like, why aren't they choosing us? Why isn't he coming back? Why aren't they doing this? And, you know, that's putting the energy outside yourself. And you're not choosing yourself because you're like wondering why they're not choosing you. But you need to choose yourself and they need to choose themselves. And I'll repeat that over and over again. It's all about you choosing you. And how do you choose you? You take that step back. You heal those wounds and you go into surrender. And literally, you know, it's a beautiful energy to be in. It's such a beautiful energy. To be in the mode of complete surrender, because in surrender you just have this wave of absolute calm and knowing within you. You just like, this shit is going to happen. this shit is inevitable. If I push against it, if I want a deadline, if I want a timeline, it's not going to work that way. You know, and I used to be like that, oh my God, I think we all go through it. You know, come the weekend and we're like, okay, he's free at the weekend, he's going to contact me. And then they don't contact you till the week after, and you're like, you know, you're in, or not at all, and you're like, what did I do? And, you know, you're literally on this high on a Friday, waiting for a message, and then come Sunday, you crash again because you literally spent the whole weekend waiting by the phone, and nothing happened, and then you go through another fucking downward spiral because you need to heal. And when you're in the waiting mode, you're not healing, you're in avoidance. So there's that up and down energy, that, you know, that crazy energy. But when you go into surrender, it's literally like, it's happening. It's going to happen. But you're not literally going, will it happen Friday? Will it happen Saturday? Will it happen Sunday? Will it happen Monday? You're literally going, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then you remove the timeline. You know, and what I love about this as well, right? You know, with a normal connection, you know, normal dating, you might meet somebody once a week or something like that and go on a date. So, you know, it's a weekly thing, you're seeing somebody regular. What I feel with the twin flame connection, time, we just have to remove time. Remove time. So, you know, you mightn't see them weekly, and maybe you haven't seen them for a month or 2 months or whatever it is. But when you meet up, it's like you only did see each other yesterday or a week ago. If you get me. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, you know, it doesn't feel like you haven't seen them in a long time. It feels like you're doing the dating thing normal, but it's just stretched out in a different kind of a timeline, if you get me. I don't know if you can understand that. But that's what I mean is, it doesn't feel like you're not meeting weekly. It doesn't feel like you're not meeting weekly. It effectively does feel like you're meeting weekly. Because everything is happening. Like, so you put all the meetings together and you squish them in like this. And you're like, effectively, we're doing it normal, but we just stretched it out a little bit. I don't know if you understand that. But that's effectively it. So what I'm trying to say here is, remove the time. Just do farmer time. There's an Irish comedian who speaks about farmer time. Like, you know, you don't need clocks. You just look at the sun and you know what time of the day it is. Just forget about time, and just pretend time doesn't exist. Pretend there's not that gap. Because in fairness, right, the only reason there's a 3-month gap or a month gap or whatever amount of time is for healing. And the gap will be shorter the less that needs to heal. And I just love this because when you're in surrender mode, the healing cycles get really short. Like I've gone through numerous healing cycles over the last couple of months since I've been in surrender mode, and they're quick. It's like 24 hours. You know what I mean? I've gone through. They're deep. Like, you know, I've had to cancel plans and stuff like that. You know, Zoom meetings and stuff like that with friends, because I'm like, I've had a really big purge today, I can't stop crying kind of energy, but the next day I'm fine. It's like nothing happened. And it's literally like that. It's like a little short burst of healing. And that's the best thing about surrender, is that it's literally confined, or the healing gets quicker, you get stronger, and you glow the fuck up, and so do they, and then they're running back to you. Like, if you're in surrender, you don't have to do it. Well, you have to do your healing, but you don't have to do anything. You just literally have to go, this is going to happen. Doesn't matter when. You just know that it is, and I just love that. And that's the thing as well, when you go into surrender, you start to remember the promise that you made between your souls, and I just think that's so beautiful. Do you know, there's just this promise that you made, that everything that you're going through, everything you've done was planned. You both planned it that exact way. So the longer the space in between, it just means that you've got a little bit more to heal. But it's going to happen. It just is. It's just let it go. And as I said, you know, a lot of us are afraid that if we cut back on contact, or if we surrender, that we're letting go of the connection. You never let go of the connection. That connection is in your soul. And as I said, if you surrender, the telepathy, the dreams, all of that, they get stronger. So that the spiritual side of the connection gets louder and more intense. And this is the part we need to concentrate on. You know, obviously we do the inner work, we do the healing. And in doing that and just being in surrender mode, your souls can connect more clearly. And when your souls connect more clearly, that gives you that reassurance, that gives you that knowing. You know what I mean? You're looking for 3D contact. You're getting 5D contact all the time if you just listen. Do you know what I mean? So forget about 3D contact. Remove that for a minute. Heal your wounds around that. and just trust in what you feel in your soul and what you feel between your souls. Concentrate on all the 5D elements of the connection rather than the 3D. Because I promise you, surrender will bring in exactly what you want. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today. There's nothing more than to help on your path. Also, I'm hosting a free webinar on November the 10th at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time called Reparent Your Inner Child. So, did I say webinar or workshop? Workshop, anyway. If you want information on it, please comment below. Also, I have a new channel called Aligning with Angie, where I'll be sharing a guided meditation once a week. The information for that is in the description box.